Greetings, family. Welcome to the Power of Tranquility. My name is Arlene, and I help women who feel frustrated with being unheard speak their truth and create harmonious relationships. So, tonight I will talk about what would your life, or this is a question that I am posing to you. What would your life look like if you decided to be happy? And the reason I ask this question is because I do recall that there was a time where I had been unhappily married, the person that I was married to before. I was unhappily married, and I was in a place of having to rediscover and reinvent myself. So the person that I had become in the marriage was not the same person that went into it. And there was a lot of psychological abuse in it. And at the time, I did not realize, but this was a question that I had asked after I had gone through a great deal of emotional detox. Anyway, one of the things is that when I began to ask that particular question, I was in a place of having powerful experiences in terms of the relationships that I had, in terms of how I was engaging with people, in terms of just everything, just a whole sort of paradigm shift when I made that a focal point of how to engage with the world. And the answer was, some of the answers had been, well, I would be with a person that I could be fully myself with. I could be in a relationship with a person that I can be honest with. The answers came in other ways as well. That I would be in a relationship with my children where our relationship was far more harmonious than they had been when I was married to my ex. There were just patterns that were showing up. And also economic freedom. Still working on some of those things, but one of the things that question did provide for me was the opportunity to really, really pivot from where I had been, because I was in a place of self-judgment and a great deal of self-recrimination, of how I was living, how I was being, perceiving myself as a failure for the demise of the first marriage. Even though that I thought that it was the best decision, but I was judging myself because, quiet as kept, probably shouldn't have married him. And I knew it. Anyway, that aside, you always start from where you are. And you start by asking yourself different types of questions instead of being in a place of judgment of yourself. And so when I began asking those questions, I went ahead and wrote the answer down. And as a result of that, there were quite a few things that did pop up for me. And one of the things was that I developed different types of relationships with individuals whose spiritual inclinations were more similar to mine. I began having more holistic relationships in terms of being or having people who were around me that supported my vision of what it was that I was looking to create, and actually being able to put the things that I was desiring into practice with them, with having that happen. And also having people who are around you you could just say, mentally, I am not in the right place right now. And I know it. But I am going to share with you what's going in my head, and you can give me whatever affirming message that you feel that I need to receive. Anyway, but my relationships definitely changed, and I'm still in that place of unpacking what that is, because it changes, as I move further along, as I reach those milestones. It is a very powerful question. And so, I'm not, when I say happy, I'm not necessarily talking about running from ear to ear, laughing, ha ha ha, from here to, and skipping through well, I guess you could say skipping through the fields in a bed full of tulips. But what I will say is that happiness for me really meant being at ease with myself, being, having a gentler voice instead of the self judgment and recriminating voice that I used to hear, about what I should be doing and who I should be being, because I had not quite reached that place yet, so that I can be in a place of creating what it is that I want to experience, instead of being a judgment about where I am. Because, where you are is the sum of all of the experiences, that you have had. And the question that you can also ask yourself, if the judgment of that voice becomes too loud, is, well, how am I better today than I was yesterday? It's a very powerful question, because it'll give you an opportunity to see how you've grown and take inventory of who it is that you're being, who it is that you've been, and how you have grown, and give yourself the opportunity to praise yourself for that growth. Anyway, if you found this message useful, please go ahead and subscribe, click like, and hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I've posted a new video. And may peace empower you, follow you wherever you go. Blessings, family.